Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavidhnopashantaye Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha Goshpadi Krutavarashim Ashaki Krutarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Nilatmajam Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shrunvan Rama Kathanadam Konayati Parangatim Veda Vedye Pare Pumsi Jate Dasharathatmaje Veda Pracheta Sadasit Sakshad Ramayanatmana. Dear friends, we are in this Ayodhya Kanda. In the last talk, we saw how Kaikeyi took initiative. Kaikeyi had asked Dasharatha the two boons which Dasharatha had promised to her earlier, and then Dasharatha, he could not bear it. He just fell on the ground, and then he just collapsed like a tree which was felled. And then right at that time, Sumanta, the charioteer, and also a close minister, so he went in, and then he tried to wake up the king. He started singing the praises and whatnot. The king was annoyed, and the king could not say anything. And then Kaikeyi herself, she took initiative. She told him, no, the king he did not have sleep all through the night. Now he is sleeping. Now you go and fetch Rama. He wants to speak to Rama. Now go and fetch Rama. So at that time, we stopped at that place. So he just came out. And then by the time he came out, in front of the palace, there were so many people. There was a huge throng. The people had thronged that place. So that is where this section, this Sarga 15 starts. You see, the scene in front of the king's palace. The whole scene, there is a huge description of who are all assembled there. A lot many people. Amatya, Balamukhyascha, Mukhyaye, Nigamasyacha. So all the people, the great sages, and then the Vedic Pandits, and then all the ministers and commanders of this army, and also Nigamasyacha, and then those merchants, traders, and all those people. In fact, merchant class again is a very important class for any ruler. So all these business people, all the people were present there. And then all the people had assembled, and then the people, they were wondering as to why the king had not yet come out. We are not able to see the king. Apashyanto Bruvan Konu Raja Konu Ragnyo Nah Prativedayet. Where is the king? Who is going to tell us about the king? So right at that time, Sumanta came out, and then he said, yeah, I am asked to go and fetch the king. But then, okay, I will again go and then again tell the king that you are all waiting. So again he goes inside, and then again he starts the normal course. Like any courtier, he has to go and again praise the king. Oh, okay, may all gods keep you victorious. Soma Surya Uchakakutsa, Shiva Vaishravanavapi, Varunascha Agnir Indrascha Vijayam Pradishantute. This is Shloka 21. I skipped all these shlokas because there is a huge description of what all arrangements were made. All the elephants, and then all the caparisoned elephants, and then horses, and then chariots, and so many things. And then lot many men and women who had gathered there. Then there were dancers and so much of material for that yajna. So all those things have skipped. So this Sumanta goes inside again, and then again he starts praising the king. And of course he says, all these people, the Brahmana, Balamukhyascha, all the commanders and all the merchants, they are all waiting at the palace gate. O king, you please come out. Then the king got annoyed. He just says, Rama manaya suteti yadasya bhihito naya kimidam karanam yena mamagnya prativahyate. You see, you have already been directed by this lady. There are two versions here. Abhihito maya, there is one version, but another version, the Pathantaram, is Abhihito anaya. So Abhihito anaya seems to be better. That is, by this lady you have already been ordered to go and fetch Rama. You go and fetch Rama. Why are you disobeying my order? So that is what he says. And he also says, I am not sleeping, you see. I am not sleeping. I am quite awake. You go and fetch Rama. So then poor Sumanta, he bowed, and then he left the place. And then he is on his way to Rama's palace. And again there is a huge description of what all people were there and what type of people were there. The entire description along the route. This description is basically to tell us, of course it tells us the practices in those days, how people used to behave on such occasions. All that, of course. It is basically to contrast what is going to be Rama's life when he goes to the forest. All this glory and then pomp and glory, all these things, it is being described only to show the contrast. So that just to heighten that contrast. Then he goes around and then there were in that Rama's house, there is a huge house where again there are certain deer and then lot of peacocks and all the forest animals are there. Probably they used to have some small zoo in their own houses. And then again huge elephant in the compound, something equivalent to our Rolls-Royce car and something like that. So elephants and then horses, all those stables, horse stables will be there. And then elephant stables also will be there. If you have seen some old forts, you can see the old elephant stables. So such things he saw. And then Sumanta went in through all the gates because he was somebody who was very close to Dasharatha and known and respected by everybody. So he had a free access to right up to the Rama's chamber. So now we come to 16th Sarga. 16th Sarga, he reaches that Rama's place. Sa tadantah puradwaram samatitya jana kulam praviviktam tatah kakshyam asasada puranavit. So he has, because he has totally free access to all the entire palace, so he reached the place. And then at that place he saw several guards and elderly watchmen at the palace. All elderly watchmen. There is a description again of all these elderly watchmen. So because in all these places where the royal women are there, young men are not posted. So vruddhasya tatra kashayino vruddhan vetrapanin swalankurtan. So they used to be called kanchukis. Kanchuki is a person, a very, very elderly learned Brahmin. Usually the elderly learned Brahmins, they had some sort of reappointment in their old age. So they were called kanchukis. Kanchukis, kanchuka. Kanchuka is a long shirt covering up to this point. No portion of the body is seen, completely tied. And then elderly, well-learned, disciplined Brahmins, that was the posting for them. So such people, he saw all those people. Then and all they of them, they also got up in respect. And then this man also, he followed the due etiquette, and then he did not enter the chamber of Rama. He followed that etiquette, and then he asked them, you please go and announce my arrival. Sutaputra pradakshinaha. There is a word used by Valmiki, pradakshinaha. Pradakshina is shlokas 5. Pradakshinaha. Dakshina is very skillful, dexterous. Pradakshinaha is highly skillful, dexterous. He is a very professional person, what we call professional nowadays. So Sumanta was a highly professional man. He did not he did not bulldoze into Rama's chamber. He didn't want to take liberty. You see, he knows where to stop. So he requested those people to announce his arrival. And Rama knew, Sutam Abhyantaram Pituhu. Rama knew that he is somebody who is close to his father. So he asked him to come inside. Instead of he going out and giving an interview there, he asked him to come into the chamber. So he went, and then Rama was seated on a golden couch. So Sita was also standing, she was also sitting next to him. And then he went, and then he conveyed the news. Dasharatha, you see, he is in Kaikeyi's chamber. He wants to see you there. Mahishyapi hi Kaikeya gamyatam tatramachiram. So pitatvam drashtumichati. This is 13th shloka. Mahishyapi hi Kaikeya gamyatam tatramachiram. You see, your father is in Kaikeyi's chamber. Along with her, he wants to see you. So you please come without delay. Machiram, without delay. Okay, Rama immediately gets ready. He gets up and then he tells Sita, surely Kaikeyi and my father, they are actually discussing my coronation. And Kaikeyi is saying, and Rama, he praises Kaikeyi. Lakshayitva hyabhiprayam priyakama sudakshina sanchodayati rajanam adarthamasite. You see, for my sake, she seems to be planning all these things. She seems to be planning for my coronation. Because she is somebody, Priyakama Sudakshina. Priyakama, she is my well-wisher. She is my well-wisher. And then she is somebody who is very accomplished lady, Sudakshina. Dakshina, you see. Just now we got another word, pradakshinaha, for sumanta. Dakshina actually means not the money you give to the priest. Dakshina is usually money you give to the priest. Dakshina is related to the word dexterous in English. Dexterous, very skillful. Dakshinaha. So Dakshinaha means a person, skilled person is called Dakshinaha. Dakshina is the money you give to somebody. Dakshinaha is a very skilled person. Of course, in Kavyas, if you refer to a person as a Dakshina Nayaka, then it means a slightly different meaning. It gives a different meaning. Dakshina Nayaka is a person who has one wife and he is also continuing romance with some other people. So he is called a Dakshina Nayaka. So he is continuing romance with another, say, lady. So, for example, in Kalidasa's, dramas, you find, for example, Malavika Agnimitram. Agnimitra is the king. So he is a Dakshina Nayaka. So he has a wife and he is still trying to do romance with Malavika. So like that. Shakuntalam also. Shakuntalam, Abhignana Shakuntalam also, that Dushyanta and Shakuntala. Dushyanta has queens already, but he also has some romance with Shakuntala. So they are called Dakshina Nayaka. So like the Dakshina is skilled. So there is a skill involved there also. So this lady, so she is called Sudakshina. Priyakama Sudakshina. So you see, at a wrong place, we got a wrong word anyway. So anyway, Priyakama Sudakshina. Then she is a very, very accomplished lady. The correct meaning should be, she is a very skilled, accomplished lady. And then he also praises the Suta, the messenger. You see, Yadrushi Parishat Tatra, Tadrusho Duta Agataha. You see that Parishat was that highest level of assembly. All the ministers and all the Samantas, the suzerain kings and all those people and all the village chiefs, all that whole parliament was gathered there. And this messenger also is actually somebody who is worthy of that Parishat. You see, when such a high level meeting is held, some high level person is sent as a messenger, not some ordinary man. So that high level messenger. So that is what it means. Tadrusho Duta Agataha. Dhruva Madhyaiva Mam Raja Yavarajye Abhishekshati. Surely, king is going to coronate me, and then I will go and see the king and stay here. Just be speaking to your friends. So that is what he tells Sita. And then Sita, of course, she Advara Manuvavraja. She followed her right up to the door, and then she also gave some auspicious. She wished him all auspiciousness, because it seems to be the practice. Because whenever the husband goes out, the wife comes in front of him and then wishes him all the best. So that sort of Mangala Vachanam it is called. So that Mangala Vachanam she said. And then she also said, okay, this kingdom, Rajyam Dvijati Virjustam Rajasuya Abhishechanam. So this kingdom, great kingdom, which is inhabited by all the Dvijatis. Dvijatis means, in those days, the Dvijatis, not only Brahmins. Dvijati doesn't mean only Brahmin. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, that is a large number of, let's say, elite people were there in that city. So that is what it means. So that's this sort of city and then this sort of kingdom he wants to give to you. And then I pray, and she prays all gods to protect, Rama from all sides. So from all directions rather. And then, Nishchakrama Sumantrena. Then Rama left for Kaikeyi place, and then he gets into a chariot. And Lakshmana also, he stood behind him. Lakshmana is always with Rama, you see. Lakshmana also stood behind him in the same chariot. And then Jugopa Bhrataram Bhrata Rathamasthaya Prushtataha. This is shloka number 33. Rathamasthaya Prushtataha. Lakshmana also stood behind, and then stood behind him in the same chariot, and then he was guarding him. So all this description, very natural description of all these practices, etc. And then it is basically to heighten that contrast which we are going to see, to heighten the what we can call the dramatic irony. All this glory is going to be totally reversed in another 2-3 scenes. Then, so like that he got into that chariot, and then along with him many followers, the soldiers, and then people moved on horseback, and then elephants also followed. So that is what happened. It seems it was a big town. There was some distance between where Rama was residing and where Dasharatha was residing. and then were from this place to another place. So there was a small procession. You visualize the procession. And along the route, you see, there are buildings, and in the buildings there are upstairs. So people, women from upstairs, they were throwing, flowers. They were just showering. We should not say throwing. They were showering flowers on Rama. And then that entire description of the royal path is mentioned here by Valmiki. And then he actually acknowledged all the praises he acknowledged, and then all the good wishes and blessings, and then he moved ahead. And then people were saying, oh, he will be our most beneficent king, and he will be there for a long, long time. Saghoshavadbhishya hayais sanagaihi. So there were elephants, there were some horses, and all those people, and in front, all these courtiers. You see, the royal courtiers in those days, Swastika Suta Magadhaihi, Suta Magadha, these two types of people, these two, let us say not types, these two classes of people, their basic job was to praise the king. Somebody's job was to wake him up, and somebody's job was to praise. So this Suta, you see, Suta is one particular caste, let us say. Nowadays we can call it a caste. In those days, of course, it was only Varna. It was only Varna, and there were very strict rules that Varna Sankara should not be there. One person of Varna, a person of one Varna should not move with the person of another Varna. So if there is any Varna Sankara, in between, if somebody is born, he is assigned a particular job. So Brahmanyam Kshatriyat Jataha. So that man was called Brahmanyam Kshatriyat Jataha. From a Brahmin woman and a Kshatriya man, if somebody is born, he is called a Suta. And his job was to prepare chariots, and then his job was to do this stuti karmani. Stuti karmani cha niyuktaha. Stuti karma is praising the king. And then this Kshatriya Stri and a Vaishya gentleman, Vaishya person. So that man, he was supposed to wake up the king. So Magadha, he is called a Magadha. So in order to prevent this sort of Varna Sankara, they seem to have laid down certain rules. And in case there is some Varna Sankara which cannot be avoided because of human weaknesses, then somebody, his role was assigned in the society. So that is how it was. So that is how he reaches and this what I said is from the note given by Govinda Raja. Govinda Raja explains who is Suta and who is Magadha, what is their role. So I am just telling this because we should have an idea about that society. Then he moved, and then he reached he is still going on the royal path. And now we come to Sarga 17. Even in the Sarga 17, this royal path is such a splendidly spacious road which is decorated all around, and then there were silk cloths all around, and then petals thrown all along the route. And then people again saying, Yathasma Poshita Pitra Tatha Yatha Sarve Pitamahahi. Just as we have been nourished by our parents, just as we have been nourished by our grandparents. Similarly, Tata Sukatar Sarve Rame Vatsyama Rajani. More than that, we will be more happy than that. It is better than being under the protection of a father. Rama will be more than a father to us. So that is what. So he will rule us like our own parents. And then they were all standing there. We will be standing here only all through the day. We will not even go home for lunch. We will skip our food and we will see Rama here. But then Rama, there is a word used by Valmiki here, Suhrudam Udasina Shubha Kathaha. Etascha Anyascha Suhrudam Udasina Shubha Kathaha. Atma Sampujani Shrunvan. So all the people were praising, but Rama was he was not elated. He was just cool. He was just Udasinaha. This Udasina word is also we get in Gita. Udasina Vadasinaha. So something like some such shloka. Udasina is somebody who is just above all these things, who is not elated by them, who is neither elated by their praise nor worried by some adverse criticism. So like that. And There is further description of how people could not take their eyes away from him when they were looking at him. They could not take their eyes away from him. He was such a handsome, very attractive person. And then there is a wonderful shloka here, 14th shloka. Yasya Ramam na pashyettu yamcha Ramo na pashyati ninditas sarvalokeshu swatmapyenam vigarhate. So a person who did not see Rama, he felt depressed. Oh, I could not see Rama. And a person whom Rama did not see, so that fellow also felt, Arey, Rama did not see me. So he also felt depressed. And then Nindita Sarvalokeshu. And he was also desperate. Hey, Rama did not see you. You could not see Rama. They were saying, oh, you could not see. Nindita Sarvalokeshu. Everybody was, say, looking down on him. And he was also looking down on himself. Then the Swatmapyanam Vigarhate. He was also looking, oh, whatever, bad luck, I could not even see Rama. Rama didn't see me. So like that, people were just thronging to see Rama. And then, all this seems to be quite some distance. So he finally reached the place. And after reaching the place, there were so many kakshas, so many chambers. He left his followers behind at the outer chamber. And then all these courtesies, Valmiki describes, you see. So he left all those people behind and he just entered into the inner chamber. Of course, here Valmiki does not specifically say, but Lakshmana also seems to have just followed. Because in the next section we see that Lakshmana is full of tears. Lakshmana is full of tears seeing all this. So he seems to be there, it looks like that. But he has not very specifically mentioned. Then we come to Sarga number 18. So Sarga number 18, when Rama entered the chamber, he saw his father. He was seated on a beautiful, couch, and then a golden couch. But then he was looking very, very Kaikeya Sahitam, Deenam, Vishanna. He was looking distressed, pitiful, Vishanna, totally pitiful, distressed, in a wretched state. And then Mukhena Parishishyata, his face was totally dried up. And then we didn't know what had happened, but he followed, he just touched his feet, and then he also touched Kaikeyi's feet, and then Dasharatha, he just said Rama, he just uttered one word Rama, and he could not speak further, he could not speak further, words didn't come out. And Rama too he was also alarmed. What happened? He had not seen such a situation earlier, he had never seen Dasharatha earlier in such a position. Dasharatha was like a sun who was eclipsed, or upaplutam iva adityam. Aditya is sun, upaplutam is something which is under eclipse, sun which is under eclipse, or uktanrutam rushimyatha, or he was looking like a sage who had told a lie. You see, a sage, if he tells a lie, he will be burning internally. He will be ashamed internally, if he is a real sage, of course. If he is a real sage and tells a lie for some reason, he will be consumed by so much of inner torment. So, like such a person, you see, Valmiki's similes also, we have to note. Valmiki uses his similes, even there he conveys dharma. Even similes, that is dharma, you see. Uktanrutam rushim yatha is the 6th shloka. And then he was wondering, Rama was wondering why his father is not feeling happy on seeing him. Usually whenever Rama went, Dasharatha was so happy that he hugged him and then used to love him so much. He was just unable to say anything. Then he asks Kaikeyi. He thinks that, okay, Kaikeyi is more composed. She seems to be okay. Let me ask her. So he addressed Kaikeyi, oh mother, you please tell me, what happened? Have I committed anything wrong? Knowingly or unknowingly have I committed? Through ignorance, not knowingly, he doesn't say knowingly. Have I committed anything wrong unknowingly? And has my father become angry for that? Kindly do something to kindly make him forgive me. So in fact, he is still asking her, kindly say, Kupita, tvameva enam prasadaya. That is, you please see that he becomes cool and then he becomes pleasant to me. And then, is there any problem? Is there any physical problem or any mental disturbance? What exactly happened? And then, or has anything happened to Bharata or Shatrughna because they are away in some other place? Has anything happened to Bharata or Shatrughna? And you see, he says, Atoshayan Maharajam Akurvanva Piturvachaha Muhurtamapi Nechayam Jivitum Kupiten Rupe. You see, if the king is happy, if the king is angry, I just cannot live even for a minute. Atoshayan Maharajam, without making him happy and without following his word, I cannot even stay for a minute, particularly, and now I am seeing, and I don't want to live also if the king is angry. So then that's what he says. And he says, because all this I say because Father, Pita, is like a Pratyaksha Daiva. He is the Pratyaksha, he Pratyakshe Sati Daivate. He is the Pratyaksha Daivata. So it is my duty to say, do whatever he says. You please tell me the truth. Then Kaikeyi, so she is very well ready with the script, whatever she has to say. And then Uvachedam Sunirlajja, 19th shloka, Uvachedam Sunirlajja Dhrushtam Atmahitam Vachaha. Nirlajja means shameless. Sunirlajja, absolutely shameless. Sunirlajja, Dhrushtam Atmahitam Vachaha. Dhrushtam is something which is very assertively say something, assertively and very firmly saying something. Dhrushtam Atmahitam Vachaha, in her own interest, she said. You see, the king is unable to speak. He is afraid of you, she says. You see, Kinchin Manogatam Tvasya Tvad na anubhashate. You see, Tvad na anubhashate. You see, because of your fear, he is not able to say. It can mean anything. You see, because of fear, he is afraid of you. That can mean like that. Or he doesn't want to hurt you because he loves you so much. You can take both the meanings. He is afraid of you also, it means. Tad bhayat nanubhashate. Out of fear, he is actually afraid of you, so he is not speaking anything. And then he says, okay, I will tell, but I will tell about a promise which he had made to me long ago. He had made a promise, and right now, you see, he is trying to build a dam when the water has flown away. You see, sa nirartham gatajale setum bandhitum ichchati. When waters have flown away, he wants to build a dam. Still she has not yet told what exactly it is. You know that. Then she says, dharma is very, very important. She is preparing a sort of preparing the ground for him to take a decision, you see. Dharma moolamidam rama viditam cha satamapi tat satyam natyajedraja kupitastvat krute yatha. You know that satyam is the very cornerstone of dharma. Dharma moolamidam rama viditam. Dharma is you know that satyam is the very cornerstone of dharma. And then you see, ensure that your father does not move away from satyam. It is in you now. The ball is in your court, somewhat like that. You see, it is in you. It is in you to see that your father does not slip away from satyam. And then if you promise that you will do what I say, or if you promise that you will do what your father wants, then I will tell you. Otherwise, there is no point. Give word to me. He is unable to tell, you see. He is unable to tell. Then, you see, tato aham abhidhasyami nahyeshatvai vakshyati. You see, I will speak to you if my words are not going to be useless. If my words are going to be useless, I will not speak to you. Then Rama says, oh, what a shame, mother. Why do you think that I don't obey you? Why do you think that I will not listen to, say, father? Aho, dhik. Dhik means just cursing himself. Oh, what a shame on me that you are suspecting me. Na arhase devi vaktum mam idrusham vachaha. Please don't say such harsh words to me. Don't say so. You see, I can do anything. If Raja says, Pateyamapi pavake, I will fall in pavaka. Pavaka is fire. I will jump into fire. Or I will eat poison. Bhaksheyamapi visham. Visham tikshanam. You see, Pateyamapi cha arnave. I can jump into the ocean. Whatever you want, whatever father wants, I will do that. You tell me, Karishye pratijane cha Ramo dvirna bhibhashate. This line is very often quoted. Ramo dvirna bhibhashate. Rama doesn't speak twice, you see. He has no two words. That means he has no equivocation. He says something now and then something later. No such equivocation, no two words. Rama speaks only once, you see. Then Kaikeyi got slightly convinced. Okay, now she tells the background. You see, he had given me 2 boons. I have claimed the boons now. And then you have to stand by the, and according to the bones, you see, I have asked the king that Bharata has to be installed and you have to go to Dandakaranya on this very day. And then you now, it is now the ball is in your court, you stand by father's order and then you go to forest. You see, Sannideshe Pitustishta. You just obey your father's command and then you go to forest. Then now he says for 14 years, of course, you have to be Jata Chiradharo Bhava. Jata Chiradhara. Jata is matted hair. Chira is not regular clothes, but then the bark of a tree, etc. In those days, probably from the bark of a tree, they used to make some rough cloth or something like that. You wear that. And then, for this reason, the king is unable to speak. So, by your, and now she says, by your truthful conduct, you have to save the king. Make your father a man of his word, you see. Satyena Mahatarama Tarayasva Nareshwaram. Tarayasva. You please save the king. This is the shloka number 40. Tarayasva. Taraya means what? Make him cross over the ocean of samsara. Something like that. Taranam. Samsara Taranam. Tarayasva Nareshwaram means you make him, a man of his word. Otherwise, he will be failing and then he will go to hell if he doesn't keep up his word. So now it is in your hand to do that. Be truthful. By your truthful conduct only, you can save the king from going to hell. Then he says, save him, okay. Then iti eva tasyam tasyam parusham vadantyam nachaiva ramah pravivesha shokam. So in spite of all such harsh words, you see, nachaiva ramah pravivesha shokam. Rama did not grieve at all. There was absolutely no expression. Pravivyathe shapi mahanubhavo na pravivyathe, na to be conveyed. Raja cha putravyasanaabhitaptaha. But Raja, you see, the king Dasharatha was so tormented by pain, but then Rama did not feel anything. So here, also in the next sarga, we have come to 19th sarga. In the 19th sarga again, we see how, how much, composed Rama is. That equanimity which we call in a sthita prajna, that is what we see here. In that you see, sthita prajna is somebody who just doesn't grieve anything. Any adverse thing happens, he just doesn't grieve. So we see all that in, Rama, in this particular sarga, this 19th sarga. You see, tad apriyam amitraghno vachanam maranopamam shrutva na vivyathe Ramaha. Shrutva na vivyathe Ramaha. So Rama did not grieve. And then he gently spoke to her, you see. Okay, evam astu gamishyami. You see the words, evam astu. Okay, let it be so. Evam astu. Let it be so. Gamishyami vanam iham tvitaha. I will just go, I will keep the word for the king. And then jata shiradharaha, wearing all this, bark of a tree and then having matted hair, I will just go to the forest. And he says, I am only unhappy with one thing, you see. Why did the king not tell me? Or why did you not tell me? You could have told me earlier. You could have told me earlier and I would have gladly given up everything. You see, why did you think that I will not obey the father? You see, he is my well-wisher. He is my hitena, guruna, pitra, krutagnena, drupena cha. He is my well-wisher. He is my guru. He is my pita. He is a king. So he could as well have told me. And then even if you had told, you see, I am only pained that you had not told about your wish. If you had told, I could have even given Sita. Sita means that is at the time of when the Shiva Dhanus was broken and the marriage was to be performed. In fact, instead of I marrying Sita, I could have given Sita to Bharata. So that is what he says. Aham hi Sitam Rajyam cha prana nishtan dhanani cha. I could have given Sita also, I could have given the kingdom, I could have given my life, prana nishtan dhanani cha. What all he wanted, I could have given. Hrushto bhratre swayam dadyam bharataya prachoditaha. Had you told me, I would have given all these. Then tatha ashvasaya hrimantam kim tvidam yan mahipatihi. And then he says, you please console the king. You see, king is in a very, very bad shape. You please console the king. He is actually crying. He is shedding tears. Let Bharata, and he himself says, send somebody to bring Bharata. Let Bharata be summoned here. I am surely going without a second thought. Dandakaranyam eshoham gachamyeva hi satvaraha. Gachamyeva. Surely I am going. Gachamyeva hi satvaraha. Very soon. Avicharya piturvakyam. Piturvakyam avicharya. Just not saying a word about it. Avicharya. Not debating. Not debating the pros and cons. Not debating the right, whether it is right or wrong. So I am just going to forest. So that is what he says. And then she felt very happy. She felt very happy. And then she wanted to give one more small punch, one more dhakka. That is, just urged him. She wanted to slightly urge him to do it fast, you see. And what she says, she wanted to just, she is putting some more pressure, you see. Yavatvam na vanam yataha puradasmad atitvaram. You see, as long as you do not go to the forest, this is 16th shloka, as long as you do not go to the forest, he will not have bath, he will not have food. So that means in the morning you visualize, he will not even have bath, he will not even have food till you go to the forest. So that means you have to immediately go. So that is what she says. So she is so, say, particular and then very, very calculated. So that is what we see. Then Dasharatha is just unable to take it all. And then, oh, dhik kashtamiti nishvasya. So he says he left a huge sigh and then, oh, what a pity. And then he just fell on that couch. So then Rama again tried to lift him up. Then again Kaikeyi slightly goaded him. No, enough, you go. So something like that. Kashayeva hato vaji vanam gantum kurtatvaraha. So she was just compelling him to go. Then Rama says, there is again a beautiful shloka which is repeated. Shloka number 20. Naham arthaparo devi lokam avartum utsahe vidhimam rushibhistulyam vimalam dharmamasthitam. You see? Kevalam dharmamasthitam. There is one version. Vimalam dharmamasthitam. You see, he says, Naham arthaparo devi. I am not after artha. Artha means this rajya, this whole kingdom, etc. I want to be the king, etc. I am not an arthapara. Lokam avastum utsahe. I am not eager, I don't want to cling on to this, say, kingdom and whatnot. You see, I don't want to cling on. This lokam avasthum utsahe, it also gives another meaning. It says, I am eager to follow loka maryada. Lokam avasthum utsahe. I want to follow that loka maryada. What is loka maryada? That a son has to obey his father's words. So both meanings also can be taken here. Number one is, na lokam avasthum utsahe. Now if you apply it here, I don't cling on. I don't want to cling on to this, say, kingdom. The other one is, I will follow loka maryada and go away. Vidhimam rushibhistulyam. Know that I am somebody like a saint. Rushibhistulyam. I am like a rushi. And then vimalam dharmamasthitam. I am just standing by righteousness. I want to observe righteousness. So this is what we see everywhere. You see, dharma is something which we cannot imbibe by reading books. You do this, you do this. Dharma is, if it is demonstrated in front of us by somebody, then only something will sink into our mind. So that is the basic thing we see here. If you read Dharma Sindhu or Dharma Shastram, you do this, do that, it will not sink. But if you see such a story, such a moving story in which somebody, some exemplary character, somebody who has followed dharma, who has exemplified all those things, then it will sink into the mind. So that is what Valmiki is showing here. And then he says, I will even lay down my life, he says, yat tatra bhavatah kinchit shakyam. Okay, I will even lay down my life to obey the king. There is no virtue which is greater than serving the father and carrying out father's words. And then he says, though he has not directly told me, don't think that the king has to directly tell me or anything. Though he has not directly told me, it is enough you have told. But I am only feeling bad that you are not trusting my virtues. You can as well command me. You are not trusting me. I don't know why. And then he says, just give enough time to go and console my mother, and then console Sita. Yavan mataramapruchhe sitancha anunayamyaham. So just give enough time to go and console my mother and also to console Sita. And then, listening to that, Dasharatha actually cried aloud. He could not bear, and then he just cried aloud. So Rama didn't want to precipitate it. He went, touched his feet, and then tried to come out. And then before coming out, he just did pradakshina. So even in such critical situations, he does not forget his etiquette. He doesn't forget the the code of conduct. Sa Ramah Pitaram Krutva Kaikeyim cha Pradakshinam, 29th shloka, Nishkramyantah Purat Tasmat Swamda Darsha Suhrujjanam. You see, he just moved around them, that is Pradakshinam. Pradakshina, Pradakshina is just moving around. And then, in olden days, that was a habit. Whenever you saw the parents, okay, you just touch their feet, and then coming out, you just do Pradakshina and come out. That was the practice. Then Lakshmana, you see, here Valmiki describes Lakshmana. Tam bashpa paripurnaksha prushtato nujagamaha Lakshmana paramakrudhaha sumitranandavardhanaha. Lakshmana was very furious. Paramakrudhaha. He was just furious and he was full of tears. So which means that had he been outside, probably he would not be so angry. So he saw that entire thing. So obviously, as a son, he also went in. After all, he also is son. So he must have been inside and then just seeing from a close distance. Then there are a couple of slokas which tell about Rama, how much equanimity is there in Rama. You see, Nachasya Mahatim Lakshmim Rajyanashopakarshati. So this loss of kingdom, it did not diminish the splendor on his face, you see. Nachasya Mahatim Lakshmim. The splendor on his face, the happiness on his face, it is not reduced even a little bit. Even this loss of kingdom could not even diminish a little bit of that. And then he says, Na vanam gantu kamasya tyajatascha vasundharam sarvalokatigasyeva lakshyate chitta vikriya. There was absolutely no chitta vikriya in him. Chitta vikriya is any disturbance of mind. Chitta vikriya is frustration, disturbance of mind. There was absolutely no vikara. Chitta vikriya. Avikari, you say. Something, absolutely no reaction. So, sarvalokatigasyeva. Sarvalokatigaha. Somebody who is absolutely above this whole world. Somebody who has gone beyond, who is above all these worldly things. Lokatigaha. Somebody who is above all these worldly things. So he was like that. And then immediately after coming out, he said no to that royal, all this chatram, pratishuddhyata shubham chatram. You see, immediately he has to go away. Then why should he have that chatram for some time? He said no. He just said no to all those things, and then refused all these royal courtesies and all that. And then he just moved. He straight away tried to go to his mother's place. And then en route, you see, there were so many people greeting him, and then he did not show any type of feeling. On the other hand, he was with pleasant words, he was greeting them all. Vacha madhuraya rama sarvam sammanayan janam. Sarvam janam sammanayan. You see, many people coming and greeting. With very sweet words, he was trying to greet them. He was trying to reply to them. And why? Because if he becomes angry, you see, his followers also will become angry. So that is the problem. So, and he is going to say, Valmiki is going to say that, and his uchitam cha mahabahur najahau jaharsham atmavan. Atmavan means one who has that self-control. His habitual happiness means his habitual pleasant countenance, that did not leave him. He was totally pleasant in his appearance. And then he was greeting everybody sweetly. And then Lakshmana, seeing his brother, in fact Lakshmana, he is very furious. If Rama gives a little bit of inkling to his anger, Lakshmana will become very furious and he will go about kicking people. So Lakshmana also, seeing Rama, Lakshmana also controlled himself. Then when he entered this Kausalya's place, he saw a very, very jubilant atmosphere. But again in the section 20, that is Sarga 20, we come to this Sarga 20. So as soon as Rama came out of Dasharatha's chamber, that is Kaikeyi's chamber, then all the royal women, you see, Dasharatha had some more wives in addition to 3 queens, some more wives. All the people, they were crying, loud wailings and cries of women they were heard. And then they were all saying, oh, he has been so good to us. He was serving us, like he was serving his own mother. He was treating all of us like mothers. And then he was loving, he was serving us like that. And he never got angry. And even if somebody was angry, he used to please them again, he used to make them happy. And then this king is a fool, he says, Abuddhir Batano Raja. Abuddhihi. Abuddhi means he is just a fool. You see, he is actually, he is bringing harm to the people. He is bringing harm to all the citizens. And so now listening to all that, Dasharatha, you see, Dasharatha, in fact, he felt ashamed. He could not even show his face. He was as though he was Shrutva Vyaliyata Asane. He was just hiding in the seat. He just not only collapsed, it is as though he was shrinking into the seat. Vyaliyata Asane. And then Rama, of course, came out receiving the greetings of all these people. And then Nityam, then he came to Kausalya. So now we see Kausalya. Sa Kshaumavasana Hrushta Nityam Vrataparayana. Vrataparayana. She was a person, Nityam Vrataparayana. Always says very strictly observing certain rules. Always say very following that spiritual discipline. Agnim Juhoti Smatada. She was doing some Agnim Juhoti. She was putting some oblations into the fire. Probably it looks even in those days, even women were doing this Agnihotra. So she was doing that Agnihotra at that time. And then after seeing Rama with great love, she approached him with great love and affection. He touched her feet and then Parishvaktasya Bahubhyam Avaghratasya Murdhani. She embraced him in her arms. Of course, embracing is two ways, you see. In modern day films, you see, embracing like this, like a lover embracing is different. Embracing a son or anybody is different. Embracing a son is Parishvaktasya Bahubhyam, with hands only. Just hands, holding the hands, that itself is embrace. That is one type of embrace. Embracing the lover is something different. So Valmiki is clear even here. Parishvaktasya Bahubhyam. He just held in her arms and then blessed him. And then you see, and then she says, you see, Satya Pratignyam Pitaram Rajanam Pasya Raghava. You see, your father is keeping his word. He is so truthful to his word. And then so she talks like that, how virtuous he is, and then he is going to install you as the prince regent, etc., etc. Then Rama slightly tries to explain what has happened. You see, Mahad Bhayam Upasthitam, 27th shloka, Upasthitam, 27th shloka. Mahad Bhayam Upasthitam, you see, Devi, a great crisis has now come, a bad news to all of you. That's what he says. You see, I have to go to Dandakaranya. I have to go to the forest. Vijane Vane, Vijanam Vanam. That is, not even where tribals are there. If there are some tribals, naturally you will be having some servants and then you will be having all comforts. So you have to go to Vijana Dandakaranya, where absolutely no, even tribals are not there. So such condition is there. Vishtarasana yogyo hi kalo yammam upasthitaha. I am now, she says, when this lady says, okay, come and sit on this golden seat, he just doesn't take that seat. He just merely touches it. No, my dear mother, I am not going to sit on this. Now I have to sit on a Darbha seat, Darbha asana only, Vishtarasana, that Darbhasana, which is specially for this munis and all such people. Then I have to only sit on a grass mat. Then Chaturdashahi Varshani Vatsyami Vijanevane. For 14 years I have to go to a forest which is totally uninhabited by people. Vijanevane, totally uninhabited by people. And then my food should be the roots and the fruits and then whatever tubers are found in the jungle. So that is living off the land, as they say. I have to live like that. And the king has directed me to go to the forest now. And then she totally collapses. She fell on the ground. She fell like a tree, cut at base, you see. You cut a tree at the base and then she fell like that. And then he lifted her up and gently tried to console her. You see, then Kausalya cries, you see. You see, Yadi putra na jayetha mama shokasya raghava. You see, had I been a barren woman, had I not, you see, before I got a son, I was only having a worry, oh, I don't have children. But now that I have you and then I have such a great son and now that you are going to forest, it is a greater sorrow. Had I been a barren woman, I would have been much happier. You see, I have not, you see, and then she recalls all these days, you see, all these days I have not got any royal treatment. Though I am supposed to be the queen, the eldest queen and whatnot, Patta Mahishi, but then I did not have any great royal comforts. Somebody else, Kaikeyi, was enjoying all the comforts. I had no royal pleasures from the husband, and now I have to hear insults even from younger women. Of course, this will continue in the next talk, because this is how Valmiki very naturally describing the mentality. You see, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the Yajnavalkya tells the wife, Navare patyuh kamaya patih priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya patih priyo bhavati. You see, if you are loving your husband, not for his sake, you are loving him for your sake. If you are loving your son, you are not loving him for his sake, you are loving him for your sake. So, lot many such things we can see in Kausalya's wailings. This is basically human psychology. Dasharatha is so passionate, so attached to his son. Kausalya is also attached to her son. No doubt, there is no doubt about it. But at the same time, she is also aware of the indignities, the ignominy which she is supposed to face when Rama leaves, and then when Kaikeyi is the queen mother, and then all that situation she is going to tell. We will continue in the next talk. Harihi Om Tat Sat.